Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is navigating the coronavirus real estate hottest market. So we have the honor to have Frank Montreux with us today. He is the king of the South. He's got over 19 brokers working for him. So thank you very much, Frank, for being with us this afternoon.
Sure, glad to be here.
And so we're super excited to have you and hear everything you have to say about the upcoming markets during the pandemic, what investors should be focusing on right now, and your best advice for everyone today. So thank you, Frank. The floor is
Sure,
yours.
okay, you got it. So we'll jump right into it. So when you're identifying any market, you have to understand that real estate is always in a shifting mode. So it's at some point in time, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the bell curve. The market's always at some point of the bell curve, on its way up, on its way down. Now, what makes Illinois or the Chicagoland area unique is there is a lot of micro markets in there. A lot of people say to me, hey, how's the market doing? And my answer is, which one in Chicago? Because there's so many different markets. You can even break up the north side and the south side, and within those areas, there's micro markets. So there's always something different going on in different areas in the city. And I'm going to break it down into some of the main components of why the Chicagoland area is so unique and why it's so different than areas like Las Vegas, for example, where everything is, a lot of the houses are very similar. A lot of the houses are, they have that drive-it look, and you look at, you drive through an area, it's like every house is almost the same. There's very few different variances with models. So we don't have that. In fact, Chicago is very diverse in many ways. And so let's get started with some of the diversity that's in Chicago. Number one, first of all, let's talk about supply and demand. So the first thing that you'll see is you will see that the market is dramatically affected by the supply versus the demand. The supply, of course, being housing, and the demand, of course, being buyers. So at this particular point in time, yeah, there is a shortage of inventory, and it will remain that way for at least a year. So the way the market is right now is the way the market will be for at least a year. And so what that means is if you're an investor, it's going to be very difficult to find properties. And I'll get into that in my closing on how to find properties. So it's difficult, the market right now, it's difficult to find properties. If you're selling, you're in the driver's seat. It's a seller's market. Values are going crazy right now. I mean, in most areas, values are skyrocketing. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But at first, I just wanted to touch on the supply and demand. So if the market will eventually shift and become a buyer's market for a while, and that's when the values will go down because buyers will have more than enough properties to choose from, and they can influence the market, and they will influence the market, and they won't have to pay as much as they do now. Now the buyers have to pay up because if you're an investor and you've sold properties within the past 6 months to a year, you know what I'm talking about. We get many times we'll get 4 to 5 offers in on a given property. It's almost routine. Almost every house that I have that goes under contract has had multiple offers on it, and it's not that part is not going to change because you still have an imbalance of number of buyers to properties on the market. And so the influences, that will change this market. Like the biggest thing would be the foreclosure market, and that won't hit. First of all, they're not going to open the courts until after this election is finalized, and then once they open the courts, then we have the winter to deal with, and they have the city, especially the city of Chicago, will do a rental moratorium, so freeze. So we're not really looking till probably the springtime when the courts really get rolling again. And then, so what's going to happen is it's going to take a process for the banks to go through the foreclosures, get them through the courts, and then go through the eviction process. So all that is going to be about a year, and then you're going to be flooded with properties. And then the market is going to shift because of that. And that's when it becomes it'll be more of a buyer's market, and then values will adjust based on how many buyers there are, or how many properties are in a particular area versus the number of buyers. But that will definitely correct itself. Another important thing to watch is interest rates. So when you see them go up or go down, they're going to do one or two things. They're going to influence the buying power of a buyer. For example, you take a $150,000 mortgage, and the current rates are somewhere in the twos. So let's say we had a deal that just closed for 2.25%. Let's say you close on a $150,000 mortgage today at 2.5%. Your principal and interest would be $790. Well, not too long ago, rates were 8%. Your payments would have been $1,468, double of what they are today. And when I started in real estate back in '83, when I first got on the scene, rates were 14.5%. Your payment would have been $2,449 for a $150,000 house. So what happens is when the payment goes up, less people can afford the house. So that payment will drive down the value of the house. So you've got that working. You've got the supply and demand working to drive values up. You've got the interest rate working to drive values up. As a matter of fact, here's another comparison. If we go back, if I compare when I first started in real estate in 1983, when the rates were 14.5%, for what I could buy today compared to then, what would be the equivalent is a $150,000 house mortgage today would be equivalent to $620,000 mortgage. I'm sorry, $620,000 mortgage today would be equivalent to a $150,000 mortgage back then because of the difference in the interest rate. So you see how significant, the interest rate is. So if it changes a half a point or a quarter point, it's not going to significantly impact a buyer's ability to pay. But when it goes up 4 or 5 points, then there's a big difference. It could double. The rate can easily double. So just imagine what that can do to a market and how it can correct a market. It's significant. So we've got supply and demand. We've got interest rates that you have to watch. And then you have to watch the relationship of the prices being asked to the medium, the average income in each area. So if you're buying in Albany Park and the average buyer can qualify for 500 to 550,000, and you're pushing the envelope and you're asking 650,000, you're eliminating the average buyer there, and you're reducing the buyer's ability. The buyer's capability is very small at that price point in an area like Albany Park. So what's going to happen is what's happened in the past in areas like that is prices have gone way up, and then they hit a ceiling, and they figure out, okay, this is how the market works. So we push the envelope. There's nobody there that's going to pay 650. So now we got to keep bringing the value down, and that's fine, right? You can test the market, but if if you're planning on making a living on that 650 and you guess wrong and you have to adjust down and you lose your money, then you're going to be out of business. So that's where you need an expert helping you and explaining to you, look, on this kind of market, you can test the market, but you're buying it at the medium income. So if the medium income can afford $500,000 for a particular area, you want to buy it at that range, and you can always test the market to see if you can make more money off it. And that's how we run our business. We never want to buy at an extraordinarily high dollar amount, hoping throwing a Hail Mary out there and hoping that we get the value. That's fool's gold. Number 4, one thing to know, and this is where it helps to have an expert working with you. Area desirability. There's certain areas that are literally bulletproof. Like on the south side, if I were to take Beverly, Hyde Park, areas like that, people always want to live in. It doesn't matter whether we're in a mild depression or a hot time. That area is always going to sell, and is always going to do well, and is always going to be stable. And people are more likely to pay more for that area, even in a down cycle. So knowing the area desirability is huge. And likewise, a low area right now, less desirable area right now, could be significantly impacted. And I'll get into some of those areas. We'll talk more about that. But that's one thing that you need to be cognizant of. Make sure you're not buying if you're buying in a low desirable area, make sure you know where you are on the bell curve, because once the bell curve starts going down, that area you may have to end up renting that property out. You may not be able to sell it at the price that you were hoping to get. Also, number 5, significantly affecting values in the area are programs that the government has in place or puts in place. There's a program now called the Chinoa Grants, and it basically allows a buyer to get their entire mortgage financed 100%. So that significantly opens up the ability for people to purchase. And I mean, usually what we see in the market on the retail end is people either they don't have the money or they don't have the credit, or both. So there's mortgage companies out there that are offering free credit repair in addition to the Chinoa grant program. This significantly affects the ability and opens up an entire market for more buyers to come in, and increases the buyers pool, and it is extremely helpful in down markets. In the market like now, you really almost don't even need it because there's so many buyers out there. And then lastly, as far as my significant market factors that affect value, is taxes. You have to pay attention, especially when you're in the suburbs. You have to pay attention what the taxes are, because in some suburbs you could be looking at 2 houses that are identical in style and square footage, and yet their taxes could be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 apart. And if you don't know that, you're going to get your ass handed to you, because if you were to buy the house with the higher taxes, there's going to be less people that are able to qualify for it. Hence, you're going to have to lower the price so that you get into that payment area where more people can qualify for it. So we got just a quick review. There's the supply and demand, interest rates, price versus relationship of what people can afford to pay for that particular area, area desirability, programs and incentive, and taxes. Those are the main things that I find. I mean, there's other factors that come into play, but those are the most, out of my 38 years of experience, these are the things that I look for. I'm sure there's other things that are coming to play. Like, right down the street from me, there's a huge Amazon plant. So there's going to be a ton of jobs coming in, so that's going to affect the area. So, but that's a one-off thing. So we look for those things as well. So now, I'm going to briefly touch to go on some areas, and I want to start off with the shocking areas. My two picks for this meeting that will blow your socks off are Englewood and New City. Those areas are considered uh, low desirable areas, although location-wise, they're amazing because they're so close to downtown, and they're close to transportation. They should be extremely desirable. And in fact, there's areas that are that close to downtown that are extremely desirable. However, that whole area, those areas have taken hits because of loss of jobs and crime and some other things that have come into play there. And now they're making a comeback. And especially in these areas where for investors, I'm seeing crazy returns on 2 flats and 3 flats. They're selling like hotcakes, and investors are making big returns on multi-units, 2 and 3 flats, and then the Englewood and New City area. Those are areas to look at. Now, the danger in those areas, because they've been suppressed for so long. There's a lot of blocks that are really rough there, so you may buy on the wrong block. But if you buy on a good block in there, you're going to make a lot of money. So those are areas for you to put on your radar and to pay attention. Again, you need an expert in there, like myself, to help you out. Areas right now that are steady and solid and rocking and rolling, and I mean, there's a bunch, but I'm just going to mention some of my favorites. Of course, Beverly has always been one of my favorite areas. Ashburn is rock solid, always extremely desirable. People always ask for it. Hyde Park, of course, is phenomenal. Avalon Park is crazy, skyrocketing in values right now. South Shore, another area that's coming back. That took a South Shore has taken a big dive, like in the early to mid 2000s, and it's coming back with a vengeance right now. Values are well over $300,000 for bungalows in there. Pill Hill, anything around a hospital, anything around a college like University of Chicago, those areas are bulletproof. Beverly, Pill Hill, those areas will be Hyde Park are just bulletproof in nature. Now, others in the suburbs, 2 areas to watch for that are making a comeback are Riverdale and Cal Park. Those areas were crushed with the market shifts in the early 2000s, and values were down below 100,000 in both of those areas, and now they're making a comeback. The values are in the low hundreds, like in Riverdale's 125 to 135, 140. It's starting to creep up. Cal Park even higher. So Cal Park's even making a bigger, faster comeback than Riverdale. So both of those areas are areas that you need to watch for inventory. Some things that because of the pandemic shift, and I think some of these, even with the cure, I think we're going to change our lives. Some people are going to be scared, and they're going to shift their lifestyles permanently. So things to look forward that will help sell properties quicker are buyers are looking for bigger rooms. They're looking almost for like a complex. So if a house has a pool in it, I've had buyers ask me about pools, big backyards, home offices, these kind of things where you can kind of do everything at home. Those are benefits that the buyers are looking for when they're looking to buy a home. So now you're wondering, where do I find these houses? Because when I go to the MLS, I get in a bidding war with 20, 30, 40, 50 people, right? You start off with your resources. Talk to everybody that you know. You talk to your attorneys. You talk to your hard money lenders. You look on the MLS. You ask your realtor to search the temporary status and the expired statuses. We're doing quite a bit of that. We drive for dollars. So we drive neighborhoods, we'll earmark neighborhoods, and we'll drive around, look at vacant buildings, and then we skip trace those addresses, and then we chase the sellers down. And you have to work hard, or have to find people that do this, and that have off market inventory. That's what my team specializes in now, because we can't rely on the MLS or the courts. They will come back with a vengeance, but for now, for at least a year, you need to be looking at off-market properties. You still could buy auction properties, but they're going to be occupied. So, if you have an occupied property, if you cannot get these people out cash for keys, these people could be in there, till the end of next year. So that's something you have to decide. If you got a hard money loan and you can't get these people out, then you could be in a lot of trouble, because you're gonna be spending a lot of money every month to maintain that property. Um, Future predictions. Also get ready for a lot of short sales. A lot of people that have taken advantage of the pandemic with the payments, they're going to end up short selling the properties. So there's going to be a big wave of that next year. So make sure you hook up with short sale specialists, and also be ready to get back in the courts, and be ready to, there'll be a lot of properties coming out of the courts, and the market will get heavy with inventory back again. So don't be discouraged. You just have to do a lot more than you did in the past to survive. I mean, we've completely shifted our models. Of course, the last thing I want to mention is Chicago Deal Vault. There's a lot of information in there. There's a ton of off-market opportunities there, from pre-foreclosures to probates. And, we're chasing all that stuff right now. There's an off-market tab. There's really nothing that there's really nothing that's like Deal Vault out there. I had the joy of working with Hugo on developing the site, and what was really cool was, Hugo would come to me, hey, what do people want? And we need to get pre-foreclosure, we need to get probate, and Hugo would do everything. So I mean, this site is on steroids. If you haven't joined it yet, and if you're looking for inventory, I mean, that's the best site out there, hands down. I don't push anything that I don't believe in, and I strongly believe in Chicago Deal Vault. And if you're looking for an agent to help you find inventory, I literally get inventory every day. I just came from a site right now on the south side that's awesome. I'll have it sold by 4 o'clock. My phone number is 708-307-0777. Again, that's 708-307-0777. The best thing to do is to text me, because I'm extremely busy, and then I'll be able to call you back when I'm freed up. But I do want to let everybody know that we're in a very, very difficult time to find inventory. Here's the thing: there's always opportunity. There is always opportunity. The price that you pay for Chicago Deal Vaults is pennies compared to the return you can get by utilizing the Deal Vault. Even if you just go on and look at the off-market tab, where there's properties that are listed already, you're going to find inventory there that you would not find on the MLS. So I mean, what are you waiting for? You can go you can go on the MLS and bid with 30, 40, 50. I mean, I've had agents tell me, hey, when I put an offer in, I've got 55 offers in on this. I mean, that's routine on the MLS. So the beauty of it is, you're not going against that many people on Deal Vaults. You're going against a fraction of that, and if you move fast enough, you may be the only one. So I do encourage people, sign up for Deal Vault, and I encourage you to give me a call. I have my own sources. We chase our own off-market properties. I'll be more than happy to help you. The only thing we ask for is, if you're a flipper, is we're looking to get the back end of the listing, and we have an amazing setup for an exit strategy to help you to maximize your return on the shortest period of time as well too. So that's it. Hugo, you want to open this thing up for questions now? I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Absolutely, friends. Thank you very much, Frank. That was amazing. Friends, if you have any questions, can you please post them via the chat or unmute yourself? So Frank is ready to answer your questions.
Did I do that good of a job?
Can I ask a question?
Sure, please.
What strategies would you use right now? I know flipping is going to be tough in this kind of market now. Maybe when things open back up, it'll start being better. Do you think you should go for just doing wholesaling at the moment, or what strategies do you encourage?
We're doing everything. We're wildly successful. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying don't do flipping now. We're wildly successful at flipping. I mean, we can't keep them on, on the shelves. So I know there's this, people are afraid because of the pandemic, or there's this philosophy that it's too dangerous, or it's not working right now. To answer your question, whatever you're good at, continue doing it. If you're good at wholesaling, just make sure you can only do one wholesale without a license. That's the drawback with the state of Illinois. You'll have to go to Indiana. But yeah, I mean, wholesaling's great. Fix and flip's great. Buy holding is great. Everybody I know that's doing it the right way is successful. It's we're still and we're still on a runaway market with these buyers. There being more buyers than sellers. That's why this pandemic really has not affected the market. And I knew this. I've been through 5 major shifts before this. I knew right away from Jump Street. There's too many buyers out there for the market to get affected. When the market shifts, though, that's when you really need to be careful about the fix and flip. Does that answer your question, or do you need
Yes,
something
it
more
does.
specific?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me just add. There's a lot of people running around saying don't fix and flip now, and I know everybody I know that's doing it is successful. So I'm not sure where that came from. It's certainly not coming from my lips, and it's not coming from a lot of other successful people that I know. But I have heard people say, hey, a lot of people are telling me not to do this right now. And I understand it's probably fear driven, but it's not fact driven. So check your facts, guys, because if you check the facts, a lot of us are killing the game right now on the flip. And so I would not be afraid to do that. And, but I would be afraid if you're just starting off, make sure you connect with a realtor that has got experience like myself that can help you and make sure you don't get your butt handed to you, because you can. You can buy the wrong stuff. It's really and also getting getting a realtor that's brand new, that doesn't know the ropes, and means well and wants you to succeed. They can easily make a mistake that's going to translate into your pocket, which you don't want. So be cautious of that. I'm not saying to you have to use me, but I'm saying you have to use me. No, but yeah. So use someone like me that has a lot of experience, and you should be fine.
Yeah, because that was. Thank you for the answer for that question.
Frank,
My
we
pleasure.
have 2 other questions from Dr. Said. Is it more feasible for an investor to be borrowing from a private money lender to get things started? And is it more feasible for an investor to have properties in one area rather than spread over different areas?
So okay, so let's address the money issue first. So usually there's there's private money. Where I know a lot of people, they talk to their family and their friends, and they're able to cut a deal with them, where they'll be able to, or they can borrow out their 401k, or they can go to hard money. The problem with hard money is that a lot of them have tightened up, and they're not that excited about dealing with first-time flippers. I know there's a few that I know they're starting to loosen up now. I think like Barnett and what's Pat Continuum. There's a few out there that are starting to let first-time flippers get back in the game. So especially, like a lot of these companies, they know that I'm involved. They breathe a sigh of relief and like, okay, we'll allow it even though you haven't done it. But yeah, you're going to pay a higher interest rate as a first-time flipper. You're going to pay more money down. So doctor, it would depend. I don't know what your situation is, how much money you have to put in, or if you can partner up with someone, partner up with friends. Maybe you have a networking of doctors that you can. I know some doctors that do that. They pull in money, or they have like a group of doctors, and they do the legwork, and they have the doctors just supply the money. So there's a lot of creative ways that you can get funding. The going to a hard money lender, there's some out there that will lend the first time home lenders. Just understand you're going to pay more money, and so you have to take that in consideration. And the more money that you have to pay, the less return you get on, and the less aggressive you can be on bidding for properties. So if you're in a bidding war, you have a higher amount of money you have to pay out. You have less of a chance to win that bid because you're handicapped by what you have to pay out for the cost of your money. So that's an issue you got to take into consideration. Hey, Hugo, what was the second question?
Yeah, the second question is whether for first-time investors, is it a good idea to focus in one area or spread out?
Well, since there's less, so I'll just answer it this way. Since there's less inventory to go out now, I don't think you have a choice. You just have to take what's out there that's good. Once it gets rolling, if you want to focus on one, some people tell me I only want to buy in these 3 areas, and I tell them that's fine, but there's just not a lot of inventory in those areas right now, so you're not going to get a lot. If your goal is to carry 3 deals a month, you're going to have to spread out. If your goal is to say, hey, I just want to do one once in a while, okay, I might be able to get let's say, hey, look, Frank, I just want to do Oak Lawn and Evergreen Park. Okay, well, one every once in a while. So it really depends, what your goals are. So if your goals are to buy a lot, then you have to go where the money is. If your goals are, I'm only going to go in a particular area, then how small that area is going to determine how many properties you'll be able to do at one given time or at a given year. So you have to kind of decide what your parameters are, what your goals are, because you definitely have to compromise that goal. If you want to do a lot of inventory right now, you have to spread out. Does that answer your question, Doctor?
Absolutely, yes. And Dr. Said is a private money lender, friends. So, Dr. Said, thank you for joining. And he's posted his personal email for everyone on the line to reach out to him.
Okay.
Should you obviously have a great deal. So, thank you, Dr.
Awesome.
Said. Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Hugo, get that for me later. I don't. Oops.
Yeah, of course. I'll get that to you later.
I think I got off the screen trying to figure out.
Yeah, because right now during the pandemic, if you have access to private money lenders like Dr. Said, that is absolutely the way to go, because it's going to be cheaper money in a sense that you're gonna have more flexible terms with a private money lender. Okay, so it's just absolutely the way to go during the pandemic. So thank you very much, Dr. Said, for joining. Do you have some words for our audience, Dr. Said?
No, can you hear me, Hugo?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. Said.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much for a very wonderful, educative learning experience as always. I always take back a lot of interesting ideas. Thank you so much, and thanks for allowing me to put in my few words over here in your
My pleasure.
program.
It was great. Yeah, thank you. And give me you've got my number. Give me a shout later. I want to talk with you.
I will do so. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, thanks, Doctor. Appreciate your time. Well, there you go. I mean,
Thank you.
there's a private money. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. There we go. I mean, you can't get much better than this. Education plus potential possibility for you to get started with private money. That's awesome, guys. So this doesn't get much better than this. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I mean, my name is Andrew. Quick question. You mentioned that it's very hard to find a good deal on MLS. What's the main source of good deals in current market for you?
We utilize the DealVault a lot and chase probates, chase pre-foreclosures. I just basically have a ton of resources. I mean, I've been in business for 38 years, so I have people calling me daily with inventory. And so, I mean, that's, a lot of people just call me directly and say, hey, look, I'm looking for this. And then when I get it, I just call them. So a lot of it is, I'm working today. It's 38 years of hard work and making great connections. I know a ton of wholesalers. A lot of my team wholesales out of my 19 agents. That's part of their jobs. Is to wholesale as well too. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is knowing the right people now that are doing the work. They're either we spend some money on advertising, and then I just know a ton of people, and that's how we get it done. And some of my people will door knock, drive for dollars, do some bandit signs, things of that nature. It's a lot of hard work. It's not easy. A lot of people want to come in and be wholesalers, and they'll see the checks on Facebook and all that jazz, and you don't realize you're walking into either you're going to spend money or you got to do a lot of hard work. So we kind of do it all. But yeah, that's how we're getting inventory. But you're more than welcome to give me a call, and I can put you on my list, and just let me know what you're looking for, and we can go from there.
And friends, for everyone on the line, we're going to give you a 30-day free trial to ChicagoDealVault.
That's crazy.
The promo code is Frank. Okay, make sure that you sign up today. You are going to get free access to the off-market leads that Frank was talking about. We have pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, REOs, vacant properties, wholesale deals, and obviously access to the MLS. So you'll have it all, including over 300 area reports for you to understand where you need to invest today. So please make sure that you take advantage of this offer today. So again, the promo code is Frank. We posted the instructions via the chat.
That's awesome. Any more questions? If
I would like to ask another question, if you don't mind.
Sure, please.
How do you tackle your getting probate deals?
Well, that's so we skip trace, and we find the people, and then sometimes we're dealing directly. We're working right now with a few that we're going to end up listing. The goal is if you can talk directly to the surviving people, and where they don't have to actually, the court doesn't require it to be listed. That's That's the money. But what it requires is you have to find out who the survivors are, and then you have to chase them, and you have to get them all to agree to sell to you. So it requires some salesmanship, and it requires it's a lot of hard work chasing that down. But we're doing that right now, and
I'm glad you
we're
guys.
getting some success.
I'm glad you asked
And
because
there's
we also give you
yeah,
probate leads in Chicago DealVault. So you're going to have all the
yeah.
probates leads. And as Frank said, we give you the access to the administrator or executor of the probate,
Mhm.
including their contact information. So it's all in Chicago DealVault. So you all are getting access today, okay,
And
to probates
yeah, let
leads.
me just add in. I'm glad that gentleman brought up the probate thing too. So what you want to do as well, a key player in this long-term wise is the attorneys. So you find attorneys that specialize in probates, and those guys will have deals. So they'll have, and once you stay in touch with them, they will call you as well too, and tell you when there's a deal out there. But the probates, they're a lot of work, and they're difficult to get, but the payoffs are huge with probates.
How do you get a relationship with an attorney? And
Well, so I mean, well, it's just like it would be me calling him and explaining who I am and what I do, and I might depending on it depends on the conversation. I may see if I can take him out for lunch and grab a or buy him a cup of coffee, or throw him a deal. Say, hey, I want to give you a deal. Let's get going that way. Um, it kind of it depends. It depends on the situation. It depends. Looks like everybody's getting the Amber Alert. It depends. It's just like creating any other type of situation. But these attorneys, they get paid once the deal goes through. So if you can prove that that you're closing deals, and that you're gonna you have cash or line of credit or whatever, and you can sell yourself, then you're you want to like with any relationship, you want to you have to be able to perform and prove that you can perform, and get them to like you. So I mean, if you can get in front of them, even better.
thank you.
Does that help? Yeah, that I
Yeah.
mean, no, there's not really unfortunately, there's not that's not a there's no simple answer for that, because you gotta it's like a case by case scenario. But I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you so much.